Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Tonight we're going to be looking at Young Master, number 6 through 9, and The Master, number 1 through 2, completing our two-part look at this great samurai comic from the 80s. So let's get started. We have number 6 here. Another beautiful Val Mayrick painted cover. Very nice design work. I love this whole design here. Very nice. And surprise, guys, this is a guest artist this issue. None other than Alex Niño draws this. And this is fucking phenomenal. So, Val Mayrick's been doing an amazing job. But I gotta say, not many people can compete with Alex Niño. This is fucking amazing. We start off, one of Lord Yagu's ninjas is basically saying, we can't find this young master guy and the princess and Yuki. And he's like, are you fucking serious? A blind man? I mean, a swordsman and a blind girl you can't find. So he says, you must commit seppuku, ritual suicide. The ninja gladly accepts, but he says, will you honor me by serving as my kayashaku, my second? The air chops off your head when the pain becomes too unbearable. And he says, I will. The guy commits ritual suicide. And then he says, Lord Lagyu, please remove my head. And he says, nah. Find the young master and the little blind bitch. And the poor guy's just left there in agony. He's spilled his guts out onto the floor. I have never seen such a cruel thing. That's an amazingly great 2-page sequence just showing what an utter ruthless bastard this guy is. God, this art is so nice. Every panel in this is stunning. And just in that Alex Niño style, which, it's just nobody has. It's just so unique to him. Look at this amazing splash page here. This tree alone is just so expressive and amazing. And we see Yuki is riding on the shoulders of Young Master. Oh, by the way, this title of the story is Keshu Shai, which means final game. Yuki's saying, I smell fish cooking. Young Master says, there's a village below us, Princess Yuki. She says, I hear growling as though from a small animal. That is your stomach complaining of hunger. I think this dialogue's great. It's pretty funny. Once again, this is Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon's going to write all the rest of these. And Val Mayrick's going to draw everything after this. So if I forget to mention, that's the case. God, look at that. Amazing wash work. It's so interesting. I mean, how many guys would do that? It's very almost experimental. So they go down to this village so they can get some food. And this old woman comes out of nowhere and she gives Yuki a fan. She says, I have a gift for you. Feel the carvings on the fan? They bear a message from the great Lord. She reads them like Braille. And then returns to Young Master, who's gotten them 2 bowls of rice. God, every character is just such an interesting design. This guy just jumps over a table with a sword and runs right after Young Master. I love this here, just the boom, boom, boom. Like just basically slowing down the moment as he's, as a Young Master realizes that he's in danger. He throws the rice bowls up skillfully, catches them on one arm, and then grabs his sword and chops this guy's arm off. There's a lot of arm severing in this comic. It's we've gone from injury to eye motifs to severing of arm motif. God, that's so great. Just this panel right here. Just the composition of it's so good. So now later on, young master and Yuki are eating their rice. He says, "Oh, can I look at that beautiful fan that that lady gave you?" And she says, "No." So he's like, "Ah." Now we see these ninja crossing a bridge, or just general warriors in general. Young master is watching over Yuki as she sleeps, but he falls asleep, and he has a dream about a mouse, a rat, being confronted by these cats. And even though he's probably gonna die because there's 3 cats around him, he's defiant. God, the way he draws these cats, so good. Look at this. Look at that hair there. How just like expressionistic it is. So the guys barge in on this place where there's young master staying. And of course, young master starts chopping into him. Yep, there's an arm. So one arm falls. I love this panel here where, you know, he's like getting ready to escape this place, to run outside. And then this panel, we just see him. He's already ran out, leaving a wake of severed arms and hands. Almost as if he's this like hurricane wind with razor blades in it. He's just like, boom. And everything in his wake, everything in his path is just becomes chum. So now all these warriors surround him. He says, "Tell me who sent you." It's Lord Yagyu, of course. And basically he says, "I hope you're prepared for what comes next." He tells Yuki to run, and he starts fighting these guys. Another arm and a hand. It's weird though, there's not a lot of blood in this. One of the letter writers in a few issues actually says, "Hey, what's up with Alex Niño? Not enough blood and gore." Oh, this page. Guys, look at this page. This right here alone is just amazing composition. Just so action-packed. And then, I love this. I've never seen a panel like this. Almost like it's a 3-dimensional coming out at the reader. And young master thrusts with his sword so hard, he breaks through the panel wall. He also breaks this guy's sword, and a few more hands go flying everywhere. God, this is, like I said, guys, love Val Mayrick's work, but this is killing me. This is amazing. So, young master follows behind Yuki, killing guys as he runs. And they're running across an icy lake now. This one fat guy falls right through the ice. And this ice flow rises up. Young master tells Yuki to jump, and then he leaps off of this ice flow. All the other guys, like a teeter-totter, they go into the water. Not all of them, a bunch of them. Oh, guys, these pages are thrilling to me. Every composition is just so great. Totally different from the last. God, the hands are just flying, the arms and hands. It's like a blender. Or a wood chipper, I meant to say. Oh, that's a great panel. So he's defeated all the bad guys. And for some reason, he looks through the ice and he sees one of them staring up in horror. And then he walks off to where Yuki has run to. Yuki is talking to the Buddha statue. She's praying. She says, "I have received a message from the great Lord. He tasks me with killing the young master." So once again, this fucking blind loyalty to the great Lord is insane. In any other story, maybe a Western story, I think even most Japanese stories should be like, fuck, I'm not doing that. That's fucking stupid. I love this guy. But no, in the world of this comic, this now is a big moral question, or it's going to torture her soul, because she has to kill him now. To do otherwise would just be unthinkable in this stupid fucking world. So now we see Yagyu is caught up with his defeated ninjas. And of course he's furious. And so he vows that from now on, he's not going to rely on underlings. He himself will kill the young master. We have a letter pages, and we get another one of those nice Warren stories. Another one written by Roger McKenzie. Also, just a sad story about the plight of the Native Americans and their. So we see, it says, by the winter of '92, death blanketed the land. And we meet this guy, Cheton Wakawamani, which means the hawk that hunts, walking. I'm going to just call him Hawk from now on. What should be his greatest joy is now turning into sorrow. Apparently there's this plague besetting the land, and he comes into this hut. His wife is in labor. The midwife, this old lady, she says it's not his time yet. He doesn't want to come out, and she's already got the fever, the white man's plague. Her name's White Fawn. The old woman tells him the only thing you can do is, before the moon again grows full, you must bring me the hide of Misquatch the one great buffalo no man has ever seen. Wrapped in its magic, it will protect your wife and child. He says, but if no man's ever seen him, how am I going to find him? You cannot. So she basically says, if your quest is a just one and your need is great enough, Misquatch will find you. Almost like some Zen Cohen. This 70s Myrick is so good. I mean, I like his 80s stuff a lot. A totally different style, but man, look at just the illustrative prowess shown there. So he leaves to find the I'm going to call him the buffalo. I can't keep saying that. I'm going to mispronounce it, I know it. And as he walks away, the wife mutters, no, Cheton, it's too late. The fever claims us all. And we see the old lady has already fallen. As soon as he leaves she's died. So we see him out in this wintry landscape trying to find the buffalo. This story is called Fever, by the way. Man, this is really tight art. This is so good. It's almost like Arthur Adams or something, how tight it is. So he's searching for this buffalo. He finds a rabbit just cooking, and he sees trails. He's like, oh, was that the buffalo? Misquatch? And he falls asleep. Now he has a dream, a memory dream, but it's also different than reality. He's riding with White Fawn. It's decades earlier, before everything's been ruined, and he's full of optimism. He sees a vulture in the sky drop an egg, and the egg makes a giant explosion. When he looks over at White Fawn, she's this skeleton. He wakes up from the nightmare, and he looks up and he sees the glowing white buffalo. He climbs this cliff to get him, because he's gonna have to kill him and take his hide. And when he makes it to the top, he basically apologizes to the buffalo. He's like, I know that you have a child who will be the future, but my wife and child need to live. So he looses his arrow into his leg. The buffalo falls. But then right then he looks up. It's the full moon. He's too late. White Fawn is dead. My child and my dreams have died with her. So he says, you must not die, Misquatch. Your death will be meaningless now. And He carries the white man's fever as well. But you carry the promise of the future. And so he kind of like tries to nurse him back to health. And the buffalo gives birth to the son, to the little buffalo who will be like somehow like some portent of the future, or savior of the future. Here's the epilogue. The buffalo leaves the mountain as as a hawk succumbs to the white man's fever. And the white man passes the valley of death. It says, visit Camp Tucson. And we see a giant nuclear bomb crater. So I thought that was a good trick. At the beginning, he's like, oh, the winter in 92. So you think it's 1892, but it's 1992. Of course, this was written in the 70s, so that was the future. Kind of interesting. Pretty decent story. No painting on the back cover. That's not cool. Young Master number 7. Another Valmeric painting, of course. Pretty nice. And man, I'm really digging this loosened up Valmeric style. I mean, this is so Walt Simonson-y, but maybe a little more controlled. I love Walt Simonson too, but this is just what a great splash page. This is just great design all around. Great composition. We get a little recap. And now we see these pilgrims on the road to this like town that has a market once a year where the fishermen trade all their fish, and all the farmers from around come and trade them, food, non-fish food. So these 4 guys are heading there. They come upon these 4 travelers, and one of them is very mysterious. He just has this hat that you can't see his face. And these farmers say, hey, where's your stuff to trade at the market? And they're like, we're going to trade the wares you have been so kind as to carry this far for us. And the guys are like, oh shit. And they kill these guys and take all their stuff. And they head down to the city. This is, once again, just some really nice stuff going on here. We see Yuki agonizing over her, the task that has been given to her. She can't imagine how she'll kill young master who's protected her all this time. So they're outside this village. So they're hungry. They decide to go down the village, buy some fish. And we see an old man with a big beard, with a hat that masks his face until he looks up. And it's Yagyu, old man Yagyu. So we have some little ruckus happens at this market. People get mad at each other, start fighting. And young master, basically these guys are picking on a poor farmer. And young master just says, leave him alone. And of course it leads to a fight. These guys attack young master. And young master, for once, non-lethally takes out these guys. He just uses karate or some kind of martial art. No, he doesn't chop off one hand or gouge out one eye. It's amazing. And these are the same guys who stole the farmer's stuff. And we see that guy with the hat, the mysterious guy with the hat again. He says, I am with them, but they are not my friends. I commend you on your style of fighting. So young master Yuki just walk away. Now we see Yagyu give a knowing glance to that guy. Meanwhile, young master and Yuki find this abandoned, broken down castle to stay in for the night. She hears movement in the castle. When young master goes inside to check out what's going on, he sees his three old pupils, the Unwhole Three, or the Unwhole Trio, or the Gimpy Three. These are the guys that he maimed, basically, his students. So one's missing a foot, one's missing a hand, and one's missing an eye. Kasahara, Onuma, and Oishi. And at first he's suspicious, which, in the world of young master, he has every right to be. But he's like, no, we were told by messengers that you were in danger, so we came down here. If you want some proof, look around you. And he does. And there's all these dead ninja. They got there early and basically cleaned the place out for him. I like he's still using that nice wash tone, but with the more loose style. It's a nice combination. So the three pupils, they know what's up. The whole village has been replaced with Yagyu's ninjas and or mercenaries. Literally everyone in the town is a ninja or a Yagyu's minion. I guess they killed all the other villagers, the real villagers, and took their places. So it's a giant trap. So he tells Yuki to hide. He says, find some place to hide. It's going to be messy. And as the story ends, Yagyu has all of his men. He's like, we're coming for you, samurai. And he laughs an evil laugh. What a bastard. Got the letter page. Got a little interview with Chuck Dixon. So I was wrong. So last time I said that Chuck Dixon at this point had not even started writing for, he did start writing for Marvel, Savage Sword of Conan. But, later on, he became a superstar Marvel writer. Just a couple of years later, he was doing Punisher, Warzone, tons of other mainstream comics. This is so annoying. So now we get a colored back, painted back cover, which is a reprint of last issue's cover. It's really annoying. I don't get it. Now we have number 8. Another very painterly cover. I'm not as thrilled by this one. It has a little tinge of nephew art to it. A hint. But I'm loving this inside art. So now the battle's about to begin. I like all this black on this page. Yeah, every now and then Val Marik uses the speckle effect. So, young master tells one of the pupils, Oishi, the half-blind one, he says, go find Yuki. Make sure she has a secure hiding spot. He finds Yuki hiding in this little kind of bunker. And when his torch lights up the place, he says, oh my God, the place is full of gunpowder and rifles left behind by the expelled foreigners. During Tokugawa's reign, he expelled almost all foreigners, Europeans. So he's like, Yuki, come out of there. Careful. We gotta get you out of here. We'll find you another little nest where you can be safe. So we can see the Yagyu's forces are already trying to scale the walls, and the Unwhole Trio are fending them off. We see Yagyu takes off his fake arm. I gotta say, the letterer who's looking better, she regressed, and the letter is getting really shitty again. I mean, it was never that great, but it was decent, okay lettering. This is just, she keeps forgetting to erase the lines so she could letter straight. You can see them. But that's the least of it. The placement of the balloons are all wrong. Everything's really bad. This is a nice page of silent action. The ninjas attack one of the pupils, and they kill him. I thought this was a little like quick. It's like, man, you got these great characters. They were just returned. It's like, wow, it's those 3 pupils. And then they just kind of get killed really quick. This whole issue is too quick. I'll show you at the end. There's something that's definitely too quick. Now we see the one with one leg. Oh, I'm sorry, that is the one with one leg. As they stab him in the chest, he's got a little life left in him. So his stump has a blade in it. And he takes one ninja with him. Kicks him right through the chest. And so now we just get really good action. The one-eyed guy is on this giant wall, just fending off guys left and right. The one-armed guy's down on the ground, doing pretty damn good himself. And we finally see the face in full of that kind of pal of Yagyu. And this is going to be an important character later on in the world of the young master. So he goes up against another one of the pupils and easily kills him. Once again, way too easy. I mean, I like these characters are interesting. You just, one fight, they're done. So apparently this swordsman is just mad. He's crazy. And it's the blade. He wields the demon blade. Where it almost seems like it's maybe like Stormbringer and Elric. It kind of takes over the wielder of the sword, whoever wields it, and it's kind of driven him crazy. They don't really give you enough backup on it. They just kind of mention it. But later on, this guy would appear in his own comic called Demon Blade. So they're looking for the girl. Yeah, he really wants to kill that girl. He's going to torture the shit out of her. I like the scene here where they're like, keep looking. And we see a trail of dead ninja. And one of the Yagyu's men says, I think he went this way. He's like, yeah, no shit. That's the young master killed all those guys. So they follow the path of dead ninja. Meanwhile, we see that one-eyed guy still on the wall, doing pretty good, just killing guys left and right. But finally, one of the bad guys runs him through with a spear. And he falls to his death. Finally, young master appears to the bad guys. Look, I like this speckled mist effect. He's coming out of the mist. And Yagyu challenges them all. I guess it's just 4 guys fighting over 5 or 6 guys. And then all of a sudden, from behind them, someone kills them all before they even attack young master. Really like these panels. It's almost like the Harvey Kurtzman 4 silent panels showing action. He basically says, I want to kill you myself. Don't waste your time with these gutter snipes. And young master, this is where we find out about the demon blade. He says, I've heard of your sword. It is said that no man can be its master. Rather, it is the blade that masters the man. And he says, but me and the blade have become friends. Friends to the death. So Yagyu's getting really close to Yuki. He can hear her. And he says, look at this, men, a stone culvert. Chop your way into it. And I'll pull the bitch out like a rabbit from its hole. And we see little pieces of wood flying away. They're getting close to her. Meanwhile, that the half-blind guy is still alive, even though he got ran through with a spear. And he's got a torch. And as he knows he's done for, so he says, let's go to hell together, children. So he takes a couple of them with him. He just plows into these 2 guys, and they all fall off the wall. And they just happen to land in that little... Oh, I'm sorry. Not just happen. He knows that this gunpowder is down there. He's the one who found Yuki earlier with his torch. That's why he had the torch. And as the Demon Blade guy and Young Master begin their battle, all the gunpowder explodes. I like that how it's just like pure black and white. And this is what I was talking about, how this issue is too quick. This, for 8 issues, Lord Yagu's been the master villain, and we're waiting for this final confrontation. Lord Yagu is just beheaded in this explosion. That's it. It's the end of Lord Yagu. He never got to square up against young master or anything. I thought that was a really weird story choice. So, guys, I think I'm very confused now. Maybe this is just bad storytelling, but it looks like he's squaring off against the guy who wields the demon blade. Explosion happens. Are we to assume that maybe the demon blade guy, got knocked out in the explosion? They don't really tell us, but apparently young master's left all alone now. And Yuki comes up to him. Young master drops his sword and says, "I've had enough of killing, enough of death. I know what your mission is. Do so, princess. I trust you to make it painless." How cute she is. She just has this little pin she's going to kill him with, but she drops it. And then right then, all these guys from the Great Lord ride up. Samurais and these magistrates or administrators, and they're emissaries from the Great Lord. He sent us to retrieve Princess Yuki. And it's interesting that young master's gotten to the point where maybe he is questioning, not revering this Great Lord, because he's kind of sassing these guys. It's like, you took your damn time about it. And one of the emissaries says, the Great Lord's motivations are a mystery to all of us. But this was all a test for the princess. He wanted to make sure that she had the strength to see the value of individual honor rather than blindly following the wishes of others. So if she slew you, she would have failed. Now this goes against almost everything we've seen in this comic. It's just like the most valued quality in any man in Japan, it seems, or woman, is to blindly obey anything the Great Lord tells you to do, no matter how odious it is or completely unethical. But now they're saying, oh no, the Great Lord wants people to question these orders and to prove how good they are. It's just like, where the hell did that come from? But I thank God this happened, though, because if she killed him, I would have been so pissed off. I know I already ranted about this last episode, but this whole system is just disgusting to me. Like any man is like some god that everything he says we have to follow, even though it goes against everyone's personal code, not just me. Anyone would find this aberrant, but it's noble. It's we have to follow his word. But it seems like everyone kind of agrees to that here. It's really dumb. So now Yuki walks away and she exits the comic after all these issues. And I like this young master, as they're riding away, he says, "Tell the Great Lord to go to hell." But then he quietly says, "Farewell, my princess." And he walks away. We get a little preview for this Demon Blade comic with some really interesting Alex Niño art. It's so crazy that Marvel and DC, how stupid they are. They have more money than New Comics Group. Why weren't they hiring Alex Niño all during this time to draw comics? I know that he did that Thriller comic for a few issues, but for the most part, have him draw Doctor Strange, you morons. That would have been amazing. But, I don't know. So now we have number 9, which is the last issue of Young Master. This is a really interesting cover here. Very straight Valmeric, but look at this right here. Way more stylized, and just I've never seen him draw like this. It's very interesting. This is my favorite issue. This what kind of reminds me of a Kurosawa story, almost like Yojimbo. So Young Master is walking around, basically. He finds this old guy meditating in the cemetery outside this village. He says, hey, is there lodgings in this village? And rice? I'm hungry. He says, yeah, my friend has a Airbnb type thing. Or not an Airbnb, but, a motel, basically. And he walks into the village. This one's called Fear and Sin. We see this one woman very startled to see him. And everyone's kind of startled. They're like, everyone recognizes that he's a Ronin, that he's a killer. And we see this one guy who's kind of an enigma in this comic. I don't know if I would have liked better illumination of him. I wish Chuck Dixon, because he's just kind of this, he's a guy who just, we don't really know who he is, but he does figure later in the story. But he's curious about this killer, So we see young master is hanging out with that guy. His name's, I think his name's Shintaro or something. I'll find out later. And we see the mayor here. The mayor sees him. He freaks out. He's like, oh my God, the great Lord sent this guy to kill me. It's because I've gambled away all the tax money and I have nothing to give to the great Lord. I have no tribute to pay him. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? And he's freaking out. We see his maid here and she's looking on, very interested with concern. And he's crying because his dear Yoshiko, his wife, will be left a widow. Now we cut away. It says sweet Yoshiko. Sweet Yoshiko's not so sweet, at least to the mayor. She has a lover named Tetsuro. Now, she's upset because she was that woman in the first page, or third page, seeing young master. She says, I know that killer is here, that my husband hired him to kill you because he knows he can't do it himself. You're too good a swordsman. He means to kill both of us. So, Tetsuro says, then I shall challenge him. I will not have the love of my life endangered. If I kill the mayor, the assassin will go away. So now, young master's getting pretty friendly with this old guy. He's a really nice guy. He's teaching this kid how to make baskets. He almost looks like an Asian David Carradine. And now we see another group of people. These are like the gamblers in the town. They're almost like the mafia. They're gamblers, but they're the underworld. And the leader says, a rival gambler has sent this killer among us. We must take him out. His name's Kotaro, by the way. He's got with his little mustache. And he says, the Ronin is just sitting on Shintaro's, porch, just drinking. He seems totally unconcerned. But he's like, he's getting cocky. He should be easy prey. Now the mayor goes to his cousin, who looks like he's a badass. I don't know if he's a mercenary or just a whatever he is. Maybe he's a Ronin. And he says, you must protect me. And he says, don't worry, cousin. I won't allow this Ronin to touch a hair on your head. So now we see, this is the handmaiden of the mayor's wife. She's doing some washing at the river. Nabuko, the maid, who we saw earlier looking in on the mayor, she's all like, accuses this one of treachery. She says, I know why that killer's here. And, he thinks that the great Lord has sent a killer for his head, for absconding with funds. He's too blinded by love to know that his wife is Shiko. It's her and her lover who have hired him to kill him. They're plotting. And the handmaiden just is like, laughs at her. She's like, you're blinded by love, Nabuko. It's no secret you love the mayor, your master. He doesn't even know you exist. This seems a little extreme. And the maid Nabucco lifts up a rock and bashes her head in and kills her. So already the young master has cast these ripples across this town that are already leading to murder. And it's going to get way worse too. So now the mayor sees the gambler, the gambling gang, and he says, wait a second, the great lord didn't send for the killer to assassinate me. It was Kataro and his gambler friends. They mean to kill me and rule the town on their own. So they confront the young master. The mayor just thinks they're, doing business with him, but they're threatening him. And then right as the fight's about to start, the mayor's cousin and his tough guys show up. So because the mayor told them, yeah, it's his gamblers actually, they're the bad guys. And so this giant fight starts in the streets, a brawl. And the whole time the young master's just sitting there watching all this. He does flick his sword, but he does, as we shall soon see, he doesn't ever have to use it. So now basically all the gamblers and all of the mayor's cousins' friends are dead, so it's just between the mayor's cousin and the head of the gamblers. And the mayor says, the assassin's not even moving. And he hears a voice behind him, perhaps you didn't pay him enough. And it's Tetsuro, the wife's lover, living up to his word. He's there to kill him. He says, you hired a killer to slay Yoshiko. When you found out we were lovers, he didn't even know they were lovers. So Yoshiko is there. He says, you should not see this. He says, no, I insist that she see this. And he stabs Tetsuro right in the gut with a spear. But before he dies, he chops off the mayor's head. Yoshiko's like, oh no, my love, to Tetsuro. She doesn't give a shit about her husband. And he says, you must live for our child that you carry. And then right then from behind, the maid shows up. Die, you hard bitch. And she runs her through with a sword. And poor Tetsuro dies with the dying Yoshiko in his arms without even the hope of his baby being born. And the maid falls down, seeing the mayor, the dead mayor, the love of her life. Now we cut back to the gambler and the mayor's cousin having a little showdown here. And they come at each other and they both strike a killing blow simultaneously, so they both die. And the little boy who was learning how to make baskets, he comes out of hiding. Are they dead, all of them? Yes, all dead. Who were they? I don't know. The young master's like, I don't know anybody in this town. I don't know what the hell just happened. And then I think this is the guy from the beginning, guys. I have no idea. I don't know if it matters. But all of this ruckus somehow made a house alight, catch on fire. A guy comes out of the thing. He's all wounded. And he stumbles towards the young master. And all he knows is that, this guy caused all this murder, this mayhem. So he says, bastard, murderer, I'll kill you. But he collapses before he can get to the young master. He drops his sword. And as he crawls closer, he hears the young master say, yeah, everyone in this town's a stranger. I don't know any of these people. I came to the village only to rest, to recover from wounds, and I enter a town of madmen. And this guy hears that, and it's like he loses his mind, and he just starts laughing like a maniac, dancing a jig, even though he's mortally wounded. And young master exits the town saying, I will find another town, a quieter town. I love this issue. Really, definitely my favorite Chuck Dixon story ever. I actually like some of Chuck Dixon's stuff. He did that Punisher Warzone first story arc I remember being pretty kick-ass. I haven't read it since 1990, whatever, 1 or something. Look at this interesting smoke effect. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. Letter pages. And once again, we get a repeat back cover. Don't like it. Okay, now it's the new title, The Master. I don't even think a month passed. They just decided to retitle it and start at number 1. Pretty nice cover, very interesting design here. They have cardstock covers now, which is nice. And I gotta say, I was really happy when Val Myrick loosened up his art. I thought it was a really great style. In these 2 issues, especially the second one, I think he loosens up a little too much here and there, where this definitely does not seem like he had all the time in the world like those other issues where he's putting in so much detail. Even when he's not putting in so much detail, it's definitely lots of interesting panel layouts. He's thinking about the storytelling. This one's just like, I don't know. There's some of the panels are a little loose. So young master's wandering around. He sees these the great lord samurai bullying this Christian missionary. They're traveling to the castle of Shimbara. Now the castle of Shimbara is under siege. A bunch of Christian rebels have taken the city, and the great lord's army is laying siege to it. So these samurai are gonna start beating the shit out of these Christians, and they're about to kill the European missionary. And young master shows up and says, cut it out. Now young master is just saying, I am no one. When people ask him who he is, I am no one, I am nothing. He doesn't call himself young master anymore. I mean, I really still do like this kind of loose stylized art, but it's just getting, some of the panels are just a little too much. Still not bad though. Overall, it's still a pretty decently drawn comic. So of course, young master kills a lot of guys. The European missionary, the whole time he's like saying, no, don't do that. It's, just, if it's God's will that we die, it's God's will. How dare we go against his will? And even though young master seems annoyed by how crazy he is, he still kills the guy, this samurai. The Christian guy starts laying into him, saying, oh my God. They kind of have a little bit of a theological discussion. And then he tells him, the master tells him his plans. He's going to Nagasaki. He wants to book passage across the sea. He's done with Japan. All he has in Japan is enemies. He's like, fuck this place. I'm getting out of here. So this would have been the new direction if this comic continued. But we only have 2 issues, so we don't really quite get there. So the missionary, his mission is to go to the Shimbaru and plead with the general, which is just like, the master's like, well, you'll die then. And the Christian's like, oh, if that's God's will. And master says, you place too much trust in this God of yours. Now we see the city. We meet General Ido Higashi, the most trusted military mind in the great lord, the cruel, ruthless man. And yet, these peasants who have occupied the city, they're not even trained soldiers. They've repelled him for weeks now, and he's starting to lose face. The reason why is because this castle itself is like a weapon. It's just all these amazing points of defense at all the gates, where even a child could defend it, could wield it to deadly effect. Sorry guys, I need water. Once again, I'm making another overly long video. So he's just like, what the hell am I gonna do? So now we see the master and the missionary overlooking this besieged city. And once again, young master is getting annoyed. He's just like, you're crazy. What the hell are you talking about? He's all nutty. And this guy's a true fanatic. Like his hands were broken by a minor lord, and he just loves it. He's like, suffering in for the Lord makes you holy. Each test of our faith brings us closer to his love. So the more you beat on this guy, the more he's going to be happy. And just like, hooray, I'm closer to Christ's love. See, there's still good stuff going on here. So now these soldiers find this Christian missionary and his little cadre. They kill one of the guys. And Master says, I'm not with these guys. He's like, yeah, well, you're with them, so we're taking you as captives. So the general has an idea. He's like, perhaps you can, martyr yourself, and I can get what I want. Young Master actually gets overpowered for once. They beat the shit out of him. Throw him in this cage. Meanwhile, they've made all these crucifixes, and all the Christians, they nail them to these crosses and pile them up, stand them up in front of the city. He says the other Christians their faith isn't as strong as it could be because they're crying out in pain. But the European guy is just like glorying in his sacrifice. He's smiling. He's like, this is great. So apparently this is all the people, the Christians in the city just start wailing and crying, and it causes a huzzarai in their ranks, which gives the general, it's a distraction. And so he exploits this momentary weakness, batters through the wall, and they slaughter 40,000 people in this castle. In his cage, Master has a vision of headless Yagyu holding his own head. He basically says, Master says, what? But you're dead. You're in hell. He says, you're in hell. Do you hear those shrieks? Feel the flames? You're in hell, young samurai. You are. And then it turns out that guy earlier wasn't dead. He's mortally wounded, but he brings the sword, Master's swords to him. He says, you'll need these. And then he keels over. So we see the general's tent. The general's, all this army is in the city just like raping and pillaging all night. And the general's like, yeah, I'll let them have their fun. Tomorrow we'll ride into the city and reclaim it. Let these guys do whatever they want. And then Master shows up. See, some of this, I really don't like that panel. And I know that sounds crazy because, a lot of comics, they might not have the best panel, a bum panel in there. But Val Mayer's been doing so good. This shit is so amazing that just seeing a panel like this is like, man. But I really shouldn't complain because he's given us a lot of fucking amazing panels. So he kills the whole entourage of this general. Here's another, this is just quick, sloppy work going on here. And of course he kills the general, as you knew he would. And then we see him, he makes it to Nagasaki. And he books passage on a ship. And he pays the guy with a gold cross that he took off the Christian missionary. Once again, a repeat cover. God damn it. It's annoying. And now we have the Master 2. This is the most lackluster Val Mayer cover. Totally well illustrated, but just kind of just boring. All the other covers look like movie poster designs, some amazing, great compositions and stuff. This is just kind of like, okay, here he is standing. Really like these cardstock covers. So this one's called Black Tide. So now Master is getting on the ship. He meets the captain here. His name's Julik. They're all Dutchmen. And He says, man, this is going to be rough. They don't want Japanese guys. None of these guys like Japanese guys, my sailors. You better just stay in your room the whole time. Meanwhile, the captain, I'm sorry, he's not the captain. He's like the quartermaster, or whatever you call it, like the second in command. The real captain, looking like little Lord Fauntleroy here, he shows up and he's bragging about how he just bought this young girl for 5 silver pieces from her own father. So right off the bat, we realize this guy's a piece of shit. So, this Dutchman guy, I already forgot his name. Jippy? Shaky? Julik. Julik is saying, you're never going to be able to come back. Because even if you're not allowed to, no Japanese are allowed to leave Japan at this time. But if they do, they definitely can't come back. He's like, fine, there's nothing for me here. So at night he does goes out to the decks. It's almost like he kind of befriends this guy. Wait, already fucking forgot his name, goddammit. Julik. Mint julep, I'll think of that. Julik. Here's some nice, interesting stuff he's never really done before with this really dark wash tone. So, and they kind of have this little interesting discussion about sharks, where Julik says, yeah, man, sharks do the devil's work. Why did God ever put him on Earth? And Master says, the shark kills to eat. Kills because killing is its nature. There's no dishonor in that. And it becomes this almost, philosophical debate where it's like, that's a problem with you Japos. That's what he calls them, Japos. He's like, you're just like those sharks. Just murdering people left and right. But then Master says, well, you people understand nothing of duty or honor or family. Do not blame the shark. Blame yourself for not seeing the beauty of it. As he goes down to his sleeping quarters, he sees that poor girl, and she's being beaten by the captain. And he doesn't do anything. So the next day he's on deck. During the daytime, some of the sailors start fucking with him. But as soon as he shows off how good he is with the sword, they're just like, oh, shit. We're not going to fuck with this guy. So one night he's woken from a slumber. He sees that poor girl half naked. Well, she's naked, just with a blanket around her, running away from the captain. She's bleeding from the lip. He says, come back here, do as I say, or I'll give you another beating. So young Master's had enough of this shit. He says, stand back and release her. Now, Julik is the only one who speaks Japanese, so he's translating. He's like, yeah, Captain, he says he would like for you to release her. He says, oh, he wants me to release her? He throws her into the water, the shark-infested water. And I guess Master's not going to jump in after her and try to save her. Even that's too much for him. And right there on the spot, he kills the captain, runs him through. And then the men, the crew, knock him out with a pin. This seemed a little like, in the first issues, he was like a superhuman, where even if somebody threw something at the back of his head, he'd somehow know with his amazing samurai skills, But it seems a little too easy. They throw him in the hold. He's unconscious. And when he wakes up, it's a daylight. Who knows how much time has passed. And he hears a ruckus on board. He hears feet stomping, cannon fire. And it's a pirate ship. They have attacked this Dutch merchant ship. Once again, this is getting a little, any other artist, this is okay. But this is getting sloppy. Some of these panels, Not that great. We see poor Julika's head being raised up by one of these pirates. A bunch of pirates run down into where Master is. They attack him. He kills them. The rest of the pirates come down, about to shoot him with their muskets. But then the pirate captain comes down, and he seems charmed by the Master. He's like, I never liked those two guys he killed. And a samurai warrior might be an interesting guy to have in the crew. And he frees him of his chain. And he says, I could tell you didn't like those Dutchmen. They were your enemies. No reason you should be enemy of me. And so now he's going to be a pirate. And unfortunately, that's where it ends. It would have been really interesting to get some pirate tales with a samurai involved. But we never will. And then from there, he was going to go to China, get all kinds of adventures in China. And possibly Europe, and who knows where he'd end up. But that would not be the case, because that's the end of the saga of the young Master slash slightly older Master who's not so young anymore. So hope you guys enjoyed looking at these with me. These are pretty much forgotten as far as I can tell by looking up stuff on the internet. Nobody gives a shit about these, but I think they're so damn good. I love this kind of shit. I am partial to samurai comics in general, but I think these are really well done. And that issue number 9, if you get one issue, that kind of Yojimbo-like story, I think that was such a cleverly written story. Really great. And so if you see it in a dollar bin, which I doubt you will, pick it up sometime. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.